What's up, everybody? So last class, we went ahead and we made ourselves this little conveyor belt in this shop. Today we're gonna make this the little question mark that you punch whenever you go up, and you get the little coin to pop out or whatever. So that's gonna be what we make today. So let's take a look at it. It's something that we're gonna use simple shapes for, and then we're gonna make a plane, and we're gonna use that plane to finish the shape out, and then extrude it. And then we're gonna put some holes in the box, and then we're gonna call that done. See, these are simple to get you started and get you kind of moving along the modeling process. So let's dive right in. So I'm just going to start with a basic a box, and I'm just going to draw a box right over that bad boy. Well, oddly enough, it already has a similar color to it. So let's hit F, and then let's hit Alt and X. So now I'm just going to make a plane. Right, I'm just going to make a plane right here in my front view, and that's going to be good. And I'm just going to hide that box we previously made, and then I'm going to select this guy, this plane right here. I'm just going to hold down Shift, drag her up like so, make it into a copy. Right now, if you hit F4, it's got 4 width segments and height segments. I don't need any of those. I'm just going to actually zero that out for both of them because I don't need that. I'm going to create my own poly workflow and my own poly edges and everything like that, so I won't be needing those. So I'm just going to convert that to an editable poly, and I'm going to select my my edge. So remember, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on your keyboard. So I'm just going to hit 2, right, to get to that. And I'm going to hold down Shift, and I'm going to begin to drag. So if I hit Alt and X, I get an X-ray view. So now I'm just going to hold down Shift, drag. If I hit E, I can rotate, right? And then I can just start kind of making our shape here. All right. So this is one way to do it, and another way is I'm going to use a spline so I can show you guys how to use the line tool, right, to make objects and shapes really quickly. So I went in here and I selected my splines, and this will allow me to draw some splines here. So I'm just going to select the line, and then I'm just going to start clicking up and dragging. So right now my spline, my line tool, it's enabled in render and viewport. I'm going to disable that, delete it, and just start over. So let's do like so. So if I hold down Shift, it snaps it. If I hold down Shift, it snaps it. So I'm just going to hold down Shift here, snap, and then start creating. All right, hold down Shift there, boom. Make kind of like a 45-degree angle. Hold down Shift, boom, 45, boom. Hold down Shift, boom, 45, boom, and then hold down Shift, boom. And just like that, I have created this shape. I'm done. You guys can go. It's over with. Joking. All right. So what we need to do now is we need to make this viewable for you guys, for whoever is going to be looking at it. So we need to enable it in the renderer and in the viewport. Whoa, that's massive. We don't want it to be to have this radial. We want it to be rectangular. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reduce the width. Just going to reduce the width to get something kind of like that. All right? Just like that. So now I've matched that width. If I hit Alt and X, I can see it. And my length is super far. I'm just going to reduce that bad boy quite a bit. All right, and just like that, we've made that question mark, and we've made our base, our little question mark. All right, so just like that, we've got that guy, and now I'm gonna right click, and I'm just gonna unhide all, so I bring back my my box here. I'm just gonna pull this guy all the way out, And this box isn't very boxy, so to make it a true box, so I'm just gonna copy half like so. I'm gonna copy this length, Control C, and then just paste it everywhere to make sure that I have a true box. Right, just like that, we've got our box going. Everything is looking good. All right, so another thing I want to teach you guys about is an idea called floaters. And what floaters are little pieces of detail that you can throw on your model to give them the appearance that they have more geometry than they actually do. And floaters are used in video games all the time, constantly, because it saves the artist time from having to cut into the geometry, and they don't have to do all that hard work only to have to bake it into a low poly mat. So you have to think, okay, well, cost versus reward. If it's going to look the same in the end anyway, well, then I can just use a floater. And floaters have been used for, I mean, as long as I can remember. All right, so we're going to put these floaters in here, and they're going to represent those holes. And we're just going to do it for one side, and we can just duplicate that question mark, everything else for the other side, and we are done with that. All right, another thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to chamfer this guy. We're going to want to chamfer this guy, and we're going to want to chamfer that guy. All right. So let's give my computer a second. It's taking its precious time to autosave, I guess. All right. Okay. Here we go. So if I hit Alt and X now, I can take it out of X-ray mode, pull this guy back. Okay, and Alt and Q just to isolate this guy. Okay, I might want to increase the width just a little bit more. So I get like right there. Alright, cool. And then I'm just going to reduce this guy to match the silhouette of what I've got over here. Alright, so now we've got our question mark ready to go. So let's unhide all. I'm going to select this guy. I'm going to right click. I'm going to convert this guy to an editable poly. Alright, so if I hit Alt X, you'll see that I've got my question mark there. And I'm going to pull this guy out like so. Okay, so the next thing we want to do now is let's create a cylinder so I can show you guys this this floater technique. All right. So floaters, let's take a look. I'm going to make a cylinder here, and I'll show you the idea of floaters. All right. So if this was going to be a purely high poly model, then I would actually cut this geometry into this box, right? I would actually go through the process of cutting this hole into this box. But if it's something that I'm going to bake out, right? If it's something that I'm going to take inside of Substance Painter and bake out high poly, low poly during that whole process, then it's something that I would definitely take into consideration, right? So let's get this guy. I don't want these 5 height segments. 18 is not enough. I'm going to increase it to like, let's do 40. Let's just do 40 of these. All right, and I'm going to right click it and I'm going to convert it to an editable poly. So I'm going to select this guy. I'm going to delete it. And then I'm going to select this outer edge. And I'm just going to pull this guy back quite a bit. All right, right now it's black because I need to flip my normals around, right? My normal affects the way that the shading is directed. So right now the shading is on the outside, and actually, because this is a floater, I want that shading on the inside. So I just hit flip, and now I've got my edges flipped on the inside. All right, so what I want to do now is I'm just going to hit M on my keyboard just so I can show you the idea of what this floater is going to do for our workflow. All right. Give my computer a second. I need a better rig so that it doesn't take a year and a half to open up my material editor. I mean, it probably also has to do with the fact that I have a ton of programs on my computer, but I digress. Let's give it a moment. We are patiently waiting. And we already have this kind of yellow material anyway, so I'm just going to select this guy, duplicate it, and I want to make a darker version, and I'm going to use as that whole so that you get an idea of how that's working. So I'm going to select this first one, add it to this guy. Add it to this guy right here, like so. And then I'm going to select this guy, and I'm going to add this one to this one. So now, from afar, the idea of floaters is at certain angles, you can't even tell that that is not part of it. So another way to sell this is I'd hit F4, and then I can just select that, hit R a little bit, and then just open her up a little bit more. Right, so now, I mean, if I hit F4, boom, it looks like we spent all this time cutting this into it, right? The only way you can tell, right, the only way you're going to be able to tell that I didn't actually cut that geometry into it is if you're like really close right here. You can definitely see that, oh man, that's fakery, that's fraud, you fraudulent right now, right? But from here, well, you can't tell, right, because of the shading. So this is one of those techniques that I'm telling you guys about that, man, it saves artists a lot of time, and now you guys know it, and you guys can use it, right? You can add a bunch of detail to anything that you want. So like I can do that, you know, make like, let's do FC, and then I can just, you know, make all these cool little details or whatever if I wanna make. Alright, so these are the kind of things people use it for. Let's hit right on the keyboard to ring it, and then I'm just gonna chamfer this guy. Okay, so I can flip that. Or I can then, you know, create a bunch of these and you know, add all this detail that I normally would, you know, would take me a couple of minutes to add this stuff to it. All right, it would take me a couple of minutes to add this, but with this technique, well, I can get a bunch of details on here really quickly. And if I'm gonna just bake it out anyway, I mean, it would be foolish of you to actually try to model that in unless you're just that awesome, you're that badass. You know, you can do it really quickly. When it comes to crunch time, man, you just want to get those details in, right? I can make it look like I've got all this extra detail that I did in here, right? But they're all just floaters, right? They're all just the idea that these little things are just floating on top. So let's delete that and finish this bad boy out. All right, so now all I have to do is just select this, hold down shift, select, drag over there, do the same, hold down shift, drag down, make this guy an instance of those, and yeah, just like that. And then we can go in here. I'm actually gonna hide this and then unhide all. Actually, let's hide this guy so we can see. So it looks like it's got like a nice kind of chamfered edge to all of that. So, and then might smooth this guy out a little bit too. So let's unhide all again, and then we're gonna take this just our cube, and then we're gonna select all of the edges, and we're gonna right click, and we're just gonna right click and chamfer that bad boy like so. We'll do 4, and then just like that. And then just like that, we've got ourselves this little Mario cube. Right? Alright, so the next thing I'd want to do is I want to make this guy just a little bit smoother, and I can do the same thing. So this guy, we need to edit it so it's a line. So we just need to throw an edit poly modifier on here. So I'm going to throw an edit poly modifier, select my edges like so, and then I can throw a chamfer on it. All right, right click, throw a chamfer. Whoa, that crunches it up pretty badly. So let's make it a little smaller, just like so. All right, and then I'm gonna add 2 segments to a different chamfer type. So I'm gonna hit F4 to see what's going on there. Okay, kind of like this the way it is, and then if we throw a turbo smooth, I think we'll get the results that we want, because I want that highlight, right? That's what I'm looking for. I want that nice highlight. So let's see what happens when we turbo smooth that. So we can do 2, and just like that, we've got something cool. So another thing you can do is you can just add some locking loops if you're not getting, because what I'm seeing right now is, so I'm just gonna, I'm gonna add a locking loop to this bottom piece right here so that it retains the hardness of that edge. So I'm gonna do the same right here, and then right here, and then right here. And now, if I turn on my turbo smooth, you'll see that I'm getting much cleaner results. So if you look closely here, we're getting some weird pinching, and that's because, let's see, we don't have any locking loops there. So we can just do the same thing, right? Just add those locking loops to those edges that we want them to. And this guy might be actually too pinched. Alright, see, that's what's happening with that guy. So what we can do is I'm just going to select this guy like so. Let's move this guy up, move this guy down, just to see what it's doing. Alright, so that, okay. Right. So I can just select this edge. I'm going to ring it. I'm going to deselect those so that I have those selected. I'm going to hit Control and X. And what it's going to do, it's going to weld those for me. Now, I fixed that. All right, just like that. All right, so now I can right-click, convert this plane to an editable poly. Select the outer edges, hold down Shift, drag out. All right. And this stuff is it's pretty easy stuff. So I'm just gonna move my cube here, like so. All right, so I'm gonna right click it, connect by 2. That way, ring, right click, connect by 2, and then do it this way as well. All right, connect. So now if I throw on a turbo smooth, boom, just like that. Now we're just gonna make a modeling material for it. This whitish kind of material, and we already have our modeling materials that you guys should have already, and then just throw those bad boys on there and voila. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate these guys. I'm going to isolate. Let's isolate our model. So Alt Q, so that we can, you know, duplicate the detail that we have on the front to the back. So I'm just going to select those. Actually, just make these black outline. All right. PZ to zoom in. All right. Then select this guy, select this, actually select the whole thing, Alt deselect that guy, and then Shift drag it to the back. I'm gonna make it an instance. I'm just gonna hold down E and rotate 90 degrees. Before I do that, I need to turn on my angle snap so that it snaps it automatically for me 180 degrees. And just like that, look at that, look at that, look at that. Easy peasy, right? You're just doing basic modeling here. All right. And just like that, we've got our little bing cube, right? That's the sound you should hear whenever you finish this model, just like that. All right. So thank you for watching this tutorial. Thank you for watching this. Hopefully you guys get a chance to complete this high poly. And later on, we're going to definitely make the low poly, and we're going to bake our normals out for all of these pieces. And man, we're gonna really have some fun with these guys, and then put them back together so that we have our final cool render. All right.